How you guys doing today? It's Anthony Gangi. Welcome to another episode of Tier Talk. Today we are going to be talking about active heroes. Again, Connie's going to introduce a very special guest to her. He's going to talk about active heroes. He's going to talk about what this charity is about. What I want to do, we're going to treat this show like Conversations with Connie, because since I'll never be on hers, I'll just create it on my own venue. And I'll go ahead and forward the show over to our amazing guest today, or co-host, I'm sorry, Connie Alleyne. Connie, how are you today?
Hello. Connie Alleyne here. I am the founder and president of the Civilian Corrections Academy. I'm also the host of The Fly Behind the Wall and Conversations with Connie. I am super
all right, Connie,
excited.
it's about your brother right now, Connie.
Yeah, I know
about
that.
your brother right now. All right, I'm gonna photo, because you know how to introduce your brother the best. I mean, I'm already a fan of who he is and what he's doing. And go ahead, Connie.
Yes, and so Anthony always picks on me because I don't introduce myself. So that's another thing that we're trying to work through right now. But I'm excited today because I get to introduce my brother. So my brother is retired Master Chief from the U.S. Navy. And, you know, he started doing these videos, which he does not ever do. He is not a social media person. And I had to figure out what it was.
Day 12, push-up position. On you.
Down. Up. You gotta say on you and then not say anything.
You say, I have the cadence, you have the repetition, or you can say, ready, begin. One of the two, not just down, up. Okay, come on, let's go.
Don't you have restart it?
No, I'll trim it out. Ready, begin.
Ready, begin. Down. Up.
One.
Down.
Initially, I was like, is he just doing push-ups? But then it was like, this is for a purpose. And for me, the purpose really did matter. You know, what he's doing now is related to active heroes. And so I will introduce to you all my brother, Gregson Haynes. Welcome, Greg, to the show.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Tony, Connie, thank you for having me on the show. And thank you for just giving a little bit of airspace to, you know, this great topic and great charity in Active Heroes. And the website for anyone that's interested after we have this conversation is www.activeheroes.org to go and really see what the charity does for veterans on their own. You know, veteran suicide is a very serious thing. And, you know, I didn't realize that there were so many veterans that were falling victim to that issue. Roughly 20 veterans a day take their lives. So, you know, Active Heroes does a great job in providing an environment for veterans who transition, whether it be through being medically separated from the military or even retirement, to be able to come back into a group of their brothers and just, you know, have camaraderie, do physical events, just be able to have someone who's a fellow brother in arms to talk to. So thanks for giving me an opportunity to speak about it.
Yeah, you know, besides the fact that you're Connie's brother, the reason why I thought this topic would be very good to my audience is we do have a lot of correctional officers that are veterans. And a lot of them do have mental health concerns, and we try our best to address them, but a lot of them are not aware of the resources that we have out there. So when Connie mentioned what you were doing, besides the fact that she's so proud of you, I mean, she made sure we knew that you were Master Chief, you know, which, by the way, again, thank you for your service. She thought that this was another resource that would be good for my audience. But again, I don't know if a lot of people are familiar exactly with what this is. I feel that some people, it's a charity, yes, but there's a bit of a push-up challenge to part of this, or there's teams being created. You know, so I see this stuff, believe it or not, on social media, but no one has ever been able to detail what it is that, you know, what the process is. What are we doing here? So maybe you can actually help explain that.
Oh yeah, easy day. As far as the so what Active Heroes does is they provide a series of challenges. So you may have like a active event where you go do, you know, 22-mile run or standing at attention for a period of time. The 22 push-ups for 22 days is a challenge in which, you call out your brothers in arms and say, hey, whether retired or active duty, I'm going to be doing these 22 push-ups to raise awareness to veteran suicides. And, I'm challenging you to do the same. So for a 22-day period, you get down, put that work in and get those push-ups in. But there's multiple different active events, fitness events that a person could do under the Active Heroes charity and through their website. The 22-day push-up challenge is just one of them.
Now, the number 22 is significant because?
The number 22 is significant because roughly 22 veterans per day, unfortunately, take their lives. And, with like I said before, we're just trying to raise that awareness. And what Active Heroes is really trying to do is impact that number in a positive way to get it down and make sure that we can have 0 suicides in the veteran community.
So one thing that I wanted to bring up is kind of like the reason why, because I think that it matters that we start to talk about why are veterans committing suicide. I understand that, I kind of went through the site and did a little research to really just know, like, PTSD is a big deal. I know Tony have done many shows on PTSD and corrections. I know that depression is another thing. But what I thought was interesting was there was some mention about adjusting to life at home. And so, I know there's some challenges with that, but I think for me, I'm trying to figure out, like, how is it so different being home versus being, on duty?
Yeah, so I'll just use me as a personal example, right? Now, I've deployed, I've done multiple detachments, and I've been fortunate to where I've been able to balance that out with having what we call shore duty, where it was like a 9 to 5. But even with that, you have your brothers in arms that you go back to on a daily basis. Now, when you transition out the military, whether through being separated for, an injury or retiring, you no longer have that group, that network of brothers and sisters in arms that look out for you, that, would ask you the question, hey, are you okay? So although, you constantly come back home to your family, when you lose that military family, the dynamic changes. So now you have to truly adjust, irregardless as to if you were going back and forth, on deployments and coming home all the time. When you are no longer in the military, it's a different mindset. It does take some adjusting to get to, or it does take you know what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
You have to adjust to it.
I was there the other day with something that I think I was trying to say, it's funny not, or I don't know what happened there. It turned out to be a big blooper. But I was wondering, so when it comes to admitting vulnerability, would you say that the military has that same level of stigma like you would find in law enforcement professions like police and corrections, where they don't want to admit that they need help?
So I would say nowadays in the military, no. And the reason being is because we've had a number of active duty sailors, high-ranking sailors, take their lives. So, the military did a round turn and said, you know what, this is one of those topics we need to get control over. So they started really emphasizing the fact of each active duty sailor asking the question, making sure they get to know their shipmates, making sure they get to know their sailors. And, if someone is not looking right, asking them directly, and the acronym you would use is ACT, ask, care, treat. So you would ask them if you plan to hurt yourself. Then if they say yes, you'll make sure they get the proper care. The treatment will be there. And the key to it is now that if a sailor gets treated for, a mental health issue, they don't lose any capability when it comes to their jobs. In times past, like early in my career, there was a stigma. And there was, if you had any type of mental health disorders, even though you may have been treated, you may have lost some capability when it came to your job. So it further compounded the issue, because now a person is either you suppress it and just keep it moving, or you go get help and potentially lose your skill set.
And I'm sure Connie may have a question after this, but what's funny is when it comes to trying to motivate staff to admit that there is a vulnerability, and I think the same thing could fall with the military, and I like what the military is doing here, is that a lot of professions, like law enforcement professions, corrections and police, they may look to motivate staff by hitting that front line and getting them to open up, but technically it really should be what the military is doing by going to management first, letting management build that trust with the frontline employees, so they know that, hey, I'm here to help and not here to, get you to admit something and have some consequences. So I'm sure you, being the high level that you are, that puts a lot of responsibility, but that opens up that level of trust between you and that. I'm saying frontline because obviously I'm talking about, but basically your frontline warriors, I guess.
Yeah, without a doubt. And the wonderful thing about it is that, it went both ways. So I got to know my sailors got to know me. And it would be funny at times whenever I would get really swamped down with work, if I didn't get out and about on the deck plate, and the deck plate, that's just a reference to going into the shops, making sure that the guys are good, seeing how they're doing with their work. If I didn't get out to see how they were doing, they would come down to my office and say, "Hey, Master Chief, how are you? You good? I haven't seen you in a while." But it's just the mere fact that it was shipmates taking care of shipmates. We asking the questions, getting to know each other to make sure that, we're doing well. And then when you take that time out to get to know your sailors, from someone at my level on down to my first line supervisors, you get to know when a person's body language is off. And you get to know when they start to change certain behaviors. And then you can ask those questions of them, like, okay, what's really going on with you? How can we help you to be a better you, would be some of the things that we would say, but then at the end of the day, if a person is really off, you would just have that hard conversation with them to make sure you get them the care and treatment that they need.
Hey, Connie, growing up with your brother here, I mean, obviously, is this something that, he always did? Like, he really did care for others, and obviously that probably motivated him into coming into the military, but then also, wait, something's going on here. Did he pick on you, Connie? Connie, did he pick on you?
No.
Wait, what's the inside joke here?
No, we made sure Connie was our princess, man. So we made sure that nobody on the block messed with Connie. And I was a bit of a rebel rouser. So when Connie would follow me in school, she would hear the stories of my maybe not so flattering times when I was doing some things in elementary school and stuff like that. But nobody messed with our baby sister.
Uh-oh. You haven't watched all the episodes. I gotta pull back. No, but what's funny though is I think obviously there's a lot of Connie that now I'm starting to see in you as well, because you guys, believe it or not, have a genuine care for each other. At least Connie does. I'm starting to know you a lot more right now, and you have this care for people, and I think that's part of the reason that motivates you guys into the professions you've chosen. For Connie, it was the medical side. For you, it's the military. And on top of being in the military, you're behind these, charities that still help long after you're out of the battlefield. And that goes to say a lot about who you are, but also the upbringing. And I was just out of curiosity, since maybe we can get a little personal here, what were some of the traits that were, taught in your household? What were some of the things that you had to stay true to by your parents? Because it seems like they've raised two great children.
Oh yeah, our parents are awesome people. Our mothers are very compassionate and passionate, caring woman, and would really give the shirt off of her back to take care of somebody. One of my biggest takeaways that held me through my 30 years in service was, you treat everybody like you want to be treated. Don't be a respecter of persons, and that carried me a long way, and it really helped me to build some friendships and really build some a strong network with individuals that they supported me during my hard times, and made sure that I was good, and I made sure that they were good, and then that all came as a result of my mom and dad.
Well, what's your thoughts on that, Connie? Let's get to know you.
It's Listen, because people see me smiling all the time, I'm laughing all the time. Like, honestly, I think that, you know, as you build relationships with people and you understand the nature of people, I think it's easier to work well with people and to understand like the backgrounds they're coming from and the struggles that they're having. And I think I don't take for granted that we grew up in a home with our mom and dad. And there was we were very close knit, and it was all about church. I mean, I had enough of church, but we had to figure out life outside of this church community where it didn't really represent the world. And so I think us having the background of, you know, the church and understanding God and certain principles and values, that helped us to be different in the world, right? So you don't have to go out lashing out at everybody because you understand that there's other things going on, and they may not have come from that kind of background where they're grounded, where your parents are praying for you on Monday nights and they're praying over you as you know, like that's what we grew up in. So I think because of our upbringing, it's much easier to give genuinely of ourselves to people and really do try to help people. But I think we also may struggle a little bit when, you know, people are doing things that we know they shouldn't do, right? It's almost like when you take someone under your wing as a mentor and they're out there just messing up, right? It's like, I'm doing my best to help you, and I'm also trying not to be disappointed and not to really own it, but you kind of just do own it because you feel like I put myself into this person, and how is it that I'm seeing something contrary, sort of reflective?
Well, you know what's great is that I think you guys believe like in the investment of people. Like for me, I invest a lot of time in people, and I try to hold them to expectations that I know I can reach. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And sometimes you give them so much belief in themselves that when they fail or they set back, they apologize to you as if it's like, no, this ain't about me, to be honest with you. It's about what you can accomplish. And I think what's great is that it's also kind of selfless in a way when you're teaching people that when you're doing things for something bigger and better than yourself. You know, same thing as what you guys are doing, Connie. I mean, think about this. Connie, first, you're in a profession where you're helping others every day. That's your satisfaction. Your satisfaction is knowing that you're able to, you know, make someone feel better in whatever sense of the term. And for you, you're protecting the world. You know, you're mission oriented. And then now you're giving back to the people that you serve next to, you know, which goes to show you that you continue to fight. Because I think a lot of times things get lost in the mix. And sometimes we need one person to come out and remind people that, hey, let's not forget about these and, you know, these things. And it takes people like yourself that, you know, I respect the charity if I respect the people that are doing the charity. I have a lot of respect for Connie. I have a lot of respect for you and what you've accomplished. Therefore, that means that the charity that you represent, in my mind, is something that's needed. And, you know, people, if they have the ability to either put a couple of dollars in or commit to that 22 number challenge, whatever way it is, right, then they need to do it because in the end, I just feel that we need to help each other out more than we do. I think, especially in today's time, I think we're forgetting about the most important thing of what makes us human, which is our ability to help each other. Yeah. And I think that's what your charity does right off the bat. Is there anything else that you would like to say about the charity? Connie had mentioned something about, I know we may have touched on it briefly, something about teams, and you're a team leader in this?
Oh, yeah. So if persons want to go and volunteer to do one of the events, you can set up a team in which that team can then fundraise towards Active Heroes. And, you know, just have a real good time with, you know, jabbing at each other and raising funds in support of a great charity. So, yeah, our team is Team Emmanuel. You know, although we've reached our fundraising goal, and I thank all those who participated and gave, you know, if someone still wants to give, they can, you know, just follow me on Facebook and you'll be able to see how to log on to the charity and donate. But they're more than willing, more than capable to go and set up their own team and, get their own folks involved in an activity where they can, have their people donate towards the charity as well.
It would be great to see the different correctional facilities develop their own team. And then, we could push each other like through some correctional challenge, if you will, for the veterans, because what a great cause it would be for, and again, that would also help us because we have a lot of people that are in corrections that are former veterans. So Greg, you have anything you'd like to say in closing?
Once again, thanks for having me on your show. I really do appreciate it. Like I said, I'm proud of both of you guys, but especially my sister, man, Connie. I love you and you're doing great things. To my veteran brothers out there, hopefully, you guys are in a good space. But if not, look at the Active Hero site and also look at the VA website. They have some good resources there as well. Realize that you did a great thing for our country and your service, and we definitely need you around. So thanks again for having me.
It's a pleasure. Now, Connie, I know you're very proud of your brother. Now, you told me on the phone how proud you were, but I didn't hear your brother on the other end. So you may want to say exactly what you told me today to him.
I said there is a very small percentage of African-American individuals who ever make it to the level of Master Chief. And I was very proud of my brother to become one of those individuals. So yes, I am super proud of my brother. And we went to the retirement ceremony. I think I told you about it last year. And it was just amazing to see the outpour of love that he got from people who served under him, who served alongside him, who he met on his way out in, and who were still being supportive of him and his family on the way out. So it was really just a great experience seeing that.
Look at that. You were two little kids. Now you're all grown up. I'm just so proud of you both. I feel it. I just feel so proud. Yeah, so, by the way, guys, even though we're having some fun here, it is a serious cause. And again, it couldn't be a better person than to represent that cause, someone that you can connect to remind you of how serious it was. And obviously, the moment Connie requested this, of course we're going to do that. Connie has gone above and beyond for this channel in so many different ways, just the information she provides. So guys, if you're interested, maybe starting a challenge at your facility, something that shows the veterans that they're not forgotten, because again, sometimes the battle just isn't in the battlefield. Sometimes you take that home with you and it stays with you forever, and sometimes people feel forgotten when they're going through these battles. So it would be great for us to remind them that they're not forgotten, because I think me and Connie discussed this many times, where if you just show support and you show people that they're not forgotten, that's a big enough motivator to get them through anything. But they have to feel that, they have love and support. So as always, guys, the show is Tier Talk. If you haven't, please subscribe, interact, engage, comment, hit that bell. That bell's going to notify you every time I post a video. And as always, guys, stay safe.